Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today, at the request of Patreon subscriber TJD, I am playing Modern, and this is Creator Creativity. This deck takes the Indomitable Creativity combo deck that is a known factor in Modern, and hybridizes it with Karn the Great Creator, which is also a known card in all formats where it's legal. Generally, these are not seen together, but Karn gives Creativity a different angle of mid-range. Normally, Creativity, it has the Fables, it usually has 4 Teferis in it, and it tries to play a mid-range game that can bridge into hardcasting Archon. Instead, we're just doing Karn stuff. Karn shuts down the One Ring from any opponent who dares to play it. Karn pretty good against Hammer and Hammer-related strategies, or anybody who's trying to activate an artifact for any reason. Also brings the robust package of things you can do, and a lot of them cause 0, actually, in this deck. We got Tormod Script for Graveyard Hate, Zuran Orb if you need to gain a bunch of life, Zuran Orb plus Ren and 6, not really a combo. Like, we don't really go off the way a Titania deck does, but if you need to suddenly gain 6 or 8 life, Zuran Orb is certainly a way to do that. Liquid Metal Coating just locks opponents who are taking their time out of the game with Karn. Got our own copy of One Ring, got a big monster we can cast because we are a deck that's trying to get to 8 mana. Engineered Explosives can clear out any number of Rhinos or Saga tokens that have made their way into the board. And Chalice the Void you can grab against the Cascade decks, put it on 0, or against something like Prowess or Burn or lots of other decks, put it on 1. Just a cool piece. And the coolest deck of all, probably too cute, but boy am I into it, Proteus Staff. 3 mana artifact that for 2 and a blue you can tap it and basically cast Polymorph. Target creature's controller reveals cards from top of their library until they reveal a creature. That player puts a card onto the battlefield, and the rest on the bottom of any order activate as a sorcery. That's a backdoor way to get your Archons into play if your creativities have been answered, or if you get like Unmoored Egoed or Surgical Extracted or something like that. It's just a fun way to work back around to that world. The main deck itself, Indomitable Creativity, is functionally just a super glamorous polymorph. Every land is a mountain. Dwarven Mind makes 1/1s. Fable the Mirror Breaker makes both 2/2 shamans and treasure tokens. And then it flips into Reflection of Kiki Jiki. Lots of objects you can creativity coming out of this. The only hits in the deck are Archon of Cruelty. That's what we're trying to do. 4 copies of Reprieve in this deck, which is cool. Not a card I have cast yet in Constructed Magic. And this one's really leaning into it, that kind of tempo combo game plan that we've seen in like Scapeshift decks in the past. Trying it here. And 4 Spell Pierce, just mildly disruptive, trying to punch a hole and do its thing. Pretty simple. Let's go do it. I'm on the draw in round 1. My opponent has revealed Gigantha the Wellspring. My hand doesn't do anything. I'm going to mulligan. This hand just doesn't cast its spells, and its spells aren't good even if it does cast them. Here we go. Okay. Gigantha could be a Shadow deck, it could be a Tron deck, it could be a Prowess deck or a Breach deck. There's a lot of stuff Gigantha could be. Looks like Prowess is the answer. Kind of regretting mulling that double bolt hand at this point. Got there anyway. Easy money. Ren and 6 is a red card. I would like to conserve my life total if I can, and just get the 1 basic mountain in the deck for now. And answer this thing before it attacked me for 4. Monastery Swiftspear, there it is. How much damage am I taking? Just 1, what a deal. The old second main Mishra's Bauble, didn't want that 1 damage. Sure, you got it. Bobbling themselves, looking for a shuffle if they don't like that card. Seems they didn't like it. Steam Vents in the list, okay. Blue cards to be aware of, Spell Pierce, they probably have stuff like Sprite Dragon. I literally just said Spell Pierce, but I would like to cast Ren and 6 this turn. How do I rectify these 2 things in my brain? I think I just shove it. Get a Stomping Grounds here. That's the one that does what I want. If it's Spell Pierce, it's going to get me eventually. And Might as well get a card that is less important than Indomitable Creativity or Karn. Karn immediately looking kind of tempting on that Zuran Orb. Not that I want to be sacking my lands here, but just putting that in play and making it so I can't just suddenly die to burst damage is pretty cool. Expressive Iteration, yeah, that's a good blue card to put in your red deck. Cosine. Also interesting that they shocked instant events and then didn't do anything with it. They didn't bolt me in the end step. They didn't do anything, just lost 2 life for fun. I guess they didn't know what they were drawing off Bobble yet at the time that they committed to the untapped steam vents, and maybe they do draw a bolt. I guess if you're not under pressure, you might as well do it that way. Wow, attacking Ren in 6, that's makes me so happy. I barely even care about that card, and I care a lot about my life total. Ren put Bloodstained Mire in my hand. Play Scalding Tarn and pass. Okay. So far, by my estimation, I have 4 more life than I should this game. Like putting that 3 damage on Ren and the second main Mishra's Bobble, both of those, pretty tough sells. Over Jeskai, that's scary. Sprite Dragon, if they tap out here, I'm going to the face with an Archon. If they just bolt me. The problem is if I go for one dwarf, they can bolt that dwarf, and then I get no creativity. Okay, what are the colors of the cards in my deck? I want to get a Triome here. Jetmir's Garden gives me access to the Leyline Bindings and Reprieves. I guess I want access to white here. Versus blue, which is just Spell Pierce, and we're kind of past the boat on that. Okay, Jetmir's Garden. Reprieve, cool. I'm going to play Scalding Tarn, and I can make a dwarf, shove Karn, play Zuran Orb. I actually don't hate that. I was just going to hold up Reprieve for a turn, but that doesn't make any sense. I could add to the board. I could also Chalice on 0. They do have Baubles in their deck. I'm making a wish. Chalice on 0. I think I just want the Zuran Orb. Just make sure I don't die this turn, and then we can figure it out next turn. They are representing a lot of damage here. Sprite Dragon. Swift Spear, oh dear. They are putting a lethal attack on Karn, even if I block. Nope, they're changing their mind. Did they realize they just need to go face here? I hope not. They pushed them all into the red zone going face and then took them back out again. Now they're going back on Karn. Yeah, they're really struggling to figure out what they're supposed to attack here. Okay, they put me to the test of if I want to save Karn, I lose my dwarf, and Karn can't wish anyway. I also just lose Karn to any spell anyway. Ooh, okay. I was gonna make 2 Archons, but I'm thinking what card would be in their hand that they didn't play yet. And the Spell Pierce could protect me from their Spell Pierce. Does Archon even stabilize me, I guess, is the very scary question I need to ask. But if I have Zuran Orb in play, I'm not worried about much. Just checking, there are Steam Vents in the deck. There are... I think I'm just going to Creativity for 1, and I can fetch Spell Pierce if I need to, and if I don't need to, then I just won't. Okay, they do have a Bolt, and I will have a Spell Pierce. Steam Vents. Spell Pierce your Bolt. And then we'll resolve all of these insane number of prowess triggers. I get the biggest creature. I gain 3 life. I draw a card. This Zuran Orb might actually be the game breaker. I would be worried about getting blitzed around the edges, but right now I'm just not even worried about that. And then I can Creativity again next turn. Cool. Wow, that was sweet. Glad I played around that interaction. Making the second dwarf and Creativitying for 2 would have beat the Bolt anyway. But playing around Bolt or Spell Pierce there. Good job, me. Flusterstorm is relevant. They are a deck with 1 mana spells that I want to counter. This Karn board is pretty much a Karn board. The only thing I would consider putting in my main deck is EE or Chalice. Chalice on 1 turns off my bolts, though, and I'm on the draw, and they're already going to have 2 1-drops in play, maybe 3, before I can play Chalice on 1. Yeah, I don't think that's a thing. Engineered Explosives might be, though. And Reprieve is kind of wonky in this matchup. It's just really slow for what you get out of it. Bolt and Pierce are both things I'm much happier with. Okay, let's do it. At 2 mana, bounce your 1 mana spell that you're just going to replay anyway and probably as haste. Not a good deal. This hand has some interaction. I'll have to fetch Jetmir's Garden first. And then Steam Fence gets me 4 land types, which I can cast Leyline Binding off of. There's a Karn. They're preordaining. Get a little action on that one. Relatively recently unbanned. Bottom the cards. Love to see it. Oh no, they figured out the pre-combat Mistress Bobble trick. Now we don't have a chance. Bobbling me. That card's not going to be there anymore by the time we get to my turn. Oh, this was a bad turn for them to figure out the bobble trick. They got 2 of them. The whole shock's worth of damage that I have to take now. Okay, very strong start from my opponent. Jetmir's Garden just does look like the right thing to get here. Wooded Foothills, does that save me any damage? It does not. If I shock in Steam Vents, I have 4 land types. Okay. Oh, I could have... Shit, I could have fetched Xander's Lounge and just gotten all of them. Whoops. Figured that out 1 second too late. If I lose by 2, I deserve it. Okay, they gave up 4 damage game 1, I gave up 2 life game 2. I just figured that this Swiftspear is going to be worth more than 2 damage. Underworld Breach. Okay, this is actually great. Because they're going to go in hard on this Swiftspear. And they get to draw 100 cards this turn, which is not great. I'm going to let all this stuff resolve before I try to interact. It's turn 3. They don't have a land drop. Okay, yeah, they're not going to get another mana here. I want them to do things that they think are going to kill me, like this mutagenic growth. Great deal. Now they can decide if they want to pump this thing for 6 more damage, or do they want to draw some cards? Yeah, drawing cards is always better. I am going to take 0 damage off this line, though. Wow, interesting. They changed their mind there. That's the spot. Oh, okay, they're going to mutagenic growth 1 more time. That's a deal. Okay, no blocks. Come on, growth me. Get in 1 more time. Oh, coward. Correct, but coward. Okay, get rid of the Swiftspear. It takes 0 damage. They did draw 3-4 cards off this breach. And there's the bauble on the way out. No graveyard left. They are going to draw 1,000,000 cards on my turn. But that was absolutely worth the 2 life I paid, even though it could have been 0. But we're not going to talk about that. Nobody saw it. It didn't happen. Okay. I'm going to get Basic Mountain and cast Fable here. I was just going to fetch land go, but now I have an exciting thing to spend mana on. This feels an Insano creativity next turn. And by Insano, I mean for more than 1 object. Doesn't lose to Bolt immediately. EI, okay. They didn't draw enough cards last turn. Still looking for action here. Arid Mesa in exile from that. There it is. Lightning Bolt. My poor Goblin, he's just a little guy. Okay. Fable trigger. I would like to discard some cards. Probably Steam Vents and 1 of the Flusters. Okay, hit another creativity. I'm going to make a dwarf and play Karn here. I'm just gearing up for a creativity next turn. All right, they just fetched a Steam Vents in response. Mishra's Bauble is off now out of their deck. And I'm going to grab the orb again. Just turtle up. You're not going to kill me with burst damage. I don't have the bandwidth to think about what the game looks like if I have to sack 2 or 3 lands this turn. Probably still end up losing, but it's all good because my opponent now probably has to think about Karn more than they'd like to. Sprite Dragon EI, busted. It's a legacy gamer over there. Found a Dragon's Rage Channeler. If they tap out, I'm sending them to hell. Okay, there's a DRC. And it's turn 5. They've made their land drop. What 0 mana effect could they have that beats 2 Archon of Cruelties? Okay, they attacked Karn for 2. I get a Reflection of Kiki Jiki. And I get another Dwarf. And I get 2 Archons. I don't know what they could have here. Oh, I boarded an Engineer Explosives. I'm such a fucking donkey. Whoops. Okay. Cardboard. Or Karn board. Dumbass. Okay. Don't do that if you play this deck. Probably still going to be hard to lose. Also, I was just so tilted I forgot to activate Karn. Just cascading hilarity here. Okay. That was bad. But we haven't lost yet. At the exile, I don't have a basic left to get. Wow, Engineered Explosives in my deck. Shameful stuff. Everything in the Karn board stays in the Karn board. Say it with me, kids. Okay, that Lava Dart didn't have to kill Karn there. I'm just playing bad. I can creativity for 2 again next turn, get my 2 Archons, but still, yuck. I go to 7 here. I think I'm supposed to attack first, because that makes the Karn or the Archon triggers lethal. The opponent's at 5. And I'm going to creativity for 2 with Flusterstorm available. Hope I didn't board in any other artifacts. I could actually target my Zurin Orb, or yeah, that's actually better. I'm going to target Dwarf and Engineered Explosive. Yeah, mistakes were made this game, no doubt about it. Spell Pierce, I can Flusterstorm that. Hope their last card in hand isn't also also Spell Pierce. Wow, they have it. Oh, Flusterstorm. Interesting. Okay. Well, I am going to lose this game because I messed up the sideboard. Unless Zurin Orb saves me, which is still entirely alive. I have Ren in 6, and their life total is not exactly flush. And they're Hellbent. Okay, pass the turn. Swiss Spear. This is 8, so I have to sack 2 lands here to be alive. Dwarven Mine. And Dwarven Mine going to the graveyard. The Sprite Dragon is a problem. I'm not going to block. I think I need damage. Oh, I win. Or we could just do it like that. I don't deserve to win this game, but here we are. Our wishing for Zurin Orb. Okay, boarding in the Karn thing was a huge punt, but boarding in Zurin or reaching for Zurin Orb was rewarded at the end. Good work, Zurin Orb. You saved me from myself. Leave your artifacts in the Karn board. That is literally how Indomitable creativity works. LOL, unpunished, on to the next round. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. I'm on the play in round 2 against a Kahira strategy, which is usually some sort of control deck, whether it's a creatureless control deck or full tap out elementals. Remains to be seen. This hand needs another land. I do like Fable into Karn, but Dwarven Mine doesn't work as your 3rd land. It has to be your 4th, or you have to play it early. I'm going to keep this. It is on the edge of where I'd want to be, though. Also, this build of creativity doesn't have any reanimator stuff. A lot of them do play like 1 copy of Persist or something like that, where you can loot away the Archons and then use them later. In this build, this really is just an Archon that's not in my deck anymore. Flooded Strand from the opponent. I think I lead on Jetmir's Garden. That one casts Ren in 6 if I rip it. Okay, I found land number 4. Now we're in business one way or another. Get to curve Fable into Karn. Just see what this opponent's made of. Endowed the Triome. Endowed the Triome is basically only in decks that play Prismatic Ending, or not Prismatic Ending, Leyline Binding, or Domain Zoo, which I don't think can play Kahira. Oh, here's this jerk. The good news is that means my Fable's going to resolve. The bad news is they have Ren in 6. Alright, I keep drawing lands here. I've had enough of them. We can stop. Fable's in, though. I get to go Fable into Karn, see what's going on over there, and eventually creativity happens. Leyline Binding. Do I want my Goblin or my Fable? The Goblin, okay. Yeah, exiling a token with Leyline Binding is pretty spooky because that means that a Teferi can bounce that later, and then it's just in action. They left up 1 mana, but it is the scariest mana possible. Like, I could just shove creativity right now, but I lose to Bolt or Spell Pierce. I'm going to try to Karn. Alright, Karn's in. What am I doing with it? That just resolved quickly, too. I think I grab the Liquid Metal Coating. I don't really want to lose my Karn to Bolt. I can also just plus on nothing and leave Karn hanging out. I'm going to do that, actually. Sage in my Jetmir's Garden. would like to use the ability. I'll get a Dwarven Mine, thank you. That was a weird way to use that card. And they're picking it right back up, rather than minusing out my Dwarf, which doesn't make sense because now I have 2. Why would they do it that way? Really hope they Besage me again. Wow, unreal. Okay, whatever. Another Dwarven Mine. So they either have Force of Negation in their hand, or they don't know what's going on right now. I could hold up Spell Pierce, or I could just ram Archons down their throat. I don't think they have Spell Pierce, for what it's worth. Yeah, whatever, get the last Dwarf. Send the squad. And I do get to attack first. Attack my opponent. I guess they could Solitude one of these guys. Kind of hope they do. Long pause in combat. There's no way you Solitude here. Okay, so Solitude can stop one of these from becoming an Archon. Alright, but it didn't. 2 Archons. Kills Ren and 6. Deletes 2 cards from their hand. If they Solitude one of them, it deletes 4 cards from their hand. Ren's gone. Drew another Creativity. I drew a Ren. I'm going to minus Karn for Tormod's Crypt here, which might seem silly, but I don't know. I don't want any graveyard looping nonsense to start to happen here. And then I can Karn for the 1 ring next turn if they stabilize against this somehow. Okay, here's the thing I talked about where they can bounce their Leyline Binding, or they can just bounce my Archon. Heads up, that's fine too. Alright, cool. Don't know what just happened there. That was a weird use of Beseiju. We saw Teferi in their deck, which is a little annoying, but mostly whatever. Veil of Summer, Flusterstorm. Cards I'm thinking about. I now know I can't board at any of these artifacts. I'm still mad at you all for not telling me about that when I did it last round. Lightning Bolt kills Teferi's. Sundering Titan is probably a complete unit in this Leyline Binding Mirror. Oh, do I even board out? Is it just the Reprieves? I think Spell Pierce is actively good. Maybe I just bring in the Veils in one Fluster, leave the other Fluster out. They weren't really casting spells on their turn that I care about, like instants and sorcery spells. Yeah, I like offensive counter spells more than defensive ones here. Meaning that I want to help my spells resolve. I don't really care about countering theirs. 0 lands at all. Easy mulligan. Ren and 6. Easy keep. I'm going to send this Leyline Binding away. I think that is the worst card in my hand, as the basic mountain makes that card cost a lot, and Ren and 6 will eventually make it cheaper. It was either that or Karn. Maybe Karn was the right answer. They fetched for Indomitable in my upkeep. There's no breeding pool in the deck, which would be how I counter Ren and 6 and then resolve my own. I could just go Ren v Ren, heads up here. Yeah, this is actually a huge decision, because if I don't get Ren going, I might not do anything this game. Alright, yeah, I have to let this resolve. And they got their Leyline Binding set up. Indatha plus the Inventus 5. Jetmir's Garden, get in. Ren and 6, get in. Okay, they have 1 turn here to stick it to Teferi before I'm ready to hold up Spell Pierce for the rest of my life. They play the land, they plus Ren. It looks like they got something to do for 3 mana here. Up the Beanstalk, uh-oh, we're in trouble. That is a powerful draw engine. It triggers off so many things, including this Leyline Binding. Wild. I love this card. I'm jealous of their deck now. They're going to have a steady stream of cards forever between Ren and Beanstalk. They're going nuts. I'm going to have to combo over the top pretty quickly here. I'm going to fetch Shock for Steam Vents. I would like to hold up the Spell Pierce. It might not be good for much longer, and I would like to pick up a land with Ren also. If you picked up a land with Ren, fetch right away. I hope this is something I can pierce. Give me a 1 ring or a Teferi. Cool. Put that in the graveyard. This also puts the shields down for creativity if I rip it, but I still get absolutely obliterated by Solitude. Okay, don't have to make that decision. That's lucky. I think I need to get Fable in the Mirror going more than I need Karn going. Have to fetch first. I'll put a Dwarven Mine into play. Just start getting that engine online. Fable can make my handful of lands into spells next turn. Oh, I just don't even have Spell Pierce in my hand. I spent that. But they saw 1. I hope they think about the other. Omnath. Uh-oh. That one doesn't care about Spell Pierce. And we know they got a handful of lands from this Wrenn. They're going to get the busload of mana here. Wrenn can ultimate next turn if I don't put some damage on it. Fetched a white source. This looks like a hard cast Solitude that also draws a card from Beanstalk if they have it. Very Time Raveler, also annoying. Bouncing my Shaman makes sense. Wrenn killing my token makes sense. I think the ship has sailed here. Even Prismatic ending my Wrenn. Just no permanence anymore. Get him out. Arguably, though, Fable is more important than any of those. If I find a creativity this turn, I can make an effort at something. They now have 3 things that Archon can sack, and... Jeez. Yeah, just infinite cards, why not? Just keep me completely in the trash here. What does Karn do? Anything? Not really. Okay. Put that one back. We're going again. We're in trouble. Basically dead, but going again. Plus Teferi, plus Wrenn. Land drops with Omnath. Get your boatload of mana. Fury, hardcast, draw a card. But I'm not going to fetch. I'm going to pass into my turn and see if I can try to creativity for 2 buddies. Lightning Bolt. Not really what I wanted. I'm going to discard 2 lands and draw Spell Pierce and a bunch of blanks. I can Bolt Fury, play Karn. We just don't need to keep playing this game. I'm good. To the sideboard. Okay, Beanstalk Gamer. I'm even further off Lusterstorm. I think maybe some Reprieve should be back in. On the play, especially. I'm pretty worried about Teferi. Still haven't seen a counterspell in their deck. Just removal from permanents. And I can just put my own Teferis in if that's what I'm worried about. Cut, fail, and maybe the Sundering Titan is too cute, and I'll just get nasty with rings. Or with Archon. So Archon gets stuffed by the ring. That was the Freudian slip you all just heard. We cut a Karn. I'm going to try to do this. Going to try to get lower. Okay. This hand starts on Wrenn and 6. I have the creativity. Let's try it. Jetmir's Garden. And then I get Steam Vents. Hope that they don't have the Spell Pierce this time. Wrenn and 6, question mark. Fetch and response. Put a tap land into play. Cool. Okay, Wrenn will be worth at least 1 card, even if they bind it right away. And this is the parade of miserable permanents that I hope to have against a deck like this one. Steam Vent's untapped. It doesn't need to be untapped to play Binding, and Beanstalk is what they have. Wow, Fury. Draw a card with Beanstalk. Aggressive, but powerful. I respect it. I'm going to fetch Basic Mountain and play Fable. Maybe Teferi's better, because Teferi shows up and makes it clear that my creativity will work next turn. I kind of like the card selection still. No, I think I should have played Teferi, actually. If they force a bigger in my upkeep again, that's fine. I'm not even convinced I'm going to do a lot of looting. And then they lose 2 cards for that. Yeah, that's actually great. Please force a vigor me. Okay, I'm going to loot away 1 land, 1 bolt. Ooh, Reprieve. That's a cool one. Combat. Alright, we got the treasure. That means I can Teferi plus Reprieve. Or I could Reprieve whatever... Okay, no. I was worried they were about to, like, Endurance and block. But I suppose not. Alright, Teferi, get in there. Let me make sure there's a Sacred Foundry in the deck before I tap this. Okay, there is. Yeah, we're good. Before I tap the garden, just want to make sure I could do what I want to do. I guess Treasure could make the white no matter what. Beanstalk is whenever you cast. Oh, even if I Reprieve something here, they get the draw off it. Dovin's Veto. Guess what? Return target spell to its owner's hand. That's very cool. Return target spell. Target uncounterable spell is gone now. And as much as I don't want to give them ongoing card advantage, I think getting the Beanstalk out of there, if they spend mana redeploying it, I'm okay with that. And I know they're holding a Dovin's Veto they can't cast now. The One Ring. Okay, they have protection from stuff. But I can creativity at instant speed because Teferi's around. You're in trouble, pal. Plus Teferi. Scalding Tarn. I still get to attack and make a treasure. Even if I don't do any damage. And I'll pass the turn, see what they want to do about their lives here. I'm under the sweet, sweet protection of Teferi Time Raveler. Gotta watch out for Boseiju. That could cut the reflection out from under me. But I'm not gonna target that anyway. Beanstalk's fine. I'm gonna wait till they cast a removal spell and then just obliterate them. Leyline Binding. Beanstalk triggers. The binding can resolve, and then I'll do stuff. This probably goes for Teferi, would be my guess. Yes, okay. It's time. Dwarven Mine. And I can go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, pay the treasure, hit all 3 of these. That sounds good. Bang. Either 3 Archons or 2 Archons and a Sundering Titan are on their way. I cannot veto this now. Pew, 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 pew. Alright, target you. Target you. Sundering Titan. I'm going to sunder everything. Okay, Plains Island. This. Or wait, cancel. Plains Island. Oh, I can't get their steam vents. So I have to leave their island. Forest. Wait, is this really? Hold up. Oh, there's a swamp and a forest is the problem. Yeah, I have to hit my own Jetmir's Garden. Bummer. They didn't float mana either, so they're just gonna get trashed here. That should be GG. I guess they could have a bunch of Solitudes. No, alright, we're done. Neat. Teferi out of the sideboard. Good card, who knew?
You come here to level up at Magic. To level up as a software engineer, check out the new YouTube series Dev Better, hosted by the founder of 7 Factor Software and Magic player, Jeremy Duvall. 7 Factor's small teams of high-performing engineers build custom mobile apps, APIs, and highly scalable systems for Fortune 500 companies and ambitious startups with great ideas. If you'd like to hire 7 Factor, or maybe join their team, contact them through their website at 7factor.io. And don't forget to subscribe to 7 Factor's YouTube for every episode of Dev Better.
On the draw in round 3, Heartbreaker. I would keep this with 2 lands. I don't think I trust it on 1. I'm going to mulligan. I will keep this hand and put Archon to the bottom. This one has 2 lands. It doesn't have the Wrenn, but now any of my lands, any of my Wrens, all solid draws here. Blue to Delta from the opponent. Is this Yawgmoth? We've got Overgrown Tomb into Thoughtseize. I have 2 of my most important card, but now they know what I'm up to. Okay, they're just getting to work taking the creativities. Not daunted by seeing 2 of them. Drawing my second Karn was not ideal. Are we going to see a Wall of Roots here, a Strangleroot Geist? Where are we going with this? Oh, we're Jund. Neat. Tarmogoyf. Can't spell pierce that one. Gonna get the Jetmir's Garden. Another creativity, okay. I remain insulated against counter spells, because they can just hit their land drop and Thoughtseize me through spell pierce here. But I've drawn another creativity. Not that it helps, until I find 2 more lands. Cycling Wraith or Jund Shadow. That's cool. Probably very dead here. I think, so it's either leave all my lands in my deck or fetch the Xander's Lounge now, so I'm set up without having to take any damage. I'm just going to draw, because I do need to hit lands. Oof. Okay, this sucks. We're in a lot of trouble. Ship to 1-lander with Wrenn and 6. Getting farmed with a 2-lander without Wrenn and 6. I'm going to reprieve this Bowmaster. I just don't want that around. Draw another reprieve. Brutal. They got 3 card types in the graveyard. I know they're holding Bowmaster. That's back. Lightning bolting me. I cannot win this game. We're good. I'm dead in 2 hits here, and I would need 2 more lands to play. Not going to work. Veil of Summer versus discard I think is fine. The Karn is mega clunky here. I don't have an Ensnaring Bridge or anything, really, to get excited about. Teferi can bounce some ground creatures. If I board out Karn completely, then this whole sideboard is blank. And if I board out Karn completely, it's not like I can bring in my One Ring just for value, because I might hit it off creativity, as we learned. Because they can veil me too, which is a problem if I go for a big creativity line. I am going to shave some reprieves and bring in my Teferis. I'll leave 2 Karns in. Okay, got the Wrenn and 6 hand, even through a discard spell. Thoughtseize, largely ineffective against what I'm presenting. Just send it. Mishra's Bauble. Looking at their own card. Didn't like it. Blood Crypt. Street Wraith. Thoughtseize. Played around it. Got him. Alright, still doing the honest work of going after Ren. I guess if they boarded in Surgicals, they could blow me out in my draw step. Hope that doesn't happen. It didn't happen. And I drew one of my best interactive cards for this matchup. If I get to untap with it available, I'll feel pretty good moving forward. They're fetching something, stomping ground. Tarmogoyf. I'm ready this time. I'm gonna fetch for the Xander's Lounge. Or I could fetch Stomping Ground. No, that doesn't add a color. If I fetch Sacred Foundry, that also doesn't add a land type. Yeah, I would need a Hallowed Fountain in the deck to Leyline Bind, or not Hallowed Fountain. Is that what I mean to say? Yeah, I would need a Hallowed Fountain in the deck in order to Leyline Bind and Veil of Summer this turn, which are cards that I don't have both of. So I'm just going to get the Xander's Lounge, get rid of the Goyf, and get back to the business of making land drops. Cycle to Wraith. And they're dead. Wow. Okay. Not interested in playing that game. On the draw, I would actually love Engineered Explosives in this matchup, but I have learned my lesson. So I'm just going to hit submit again. A one-lander. Can't keep it. I'm going to mulligan. One-lander with 2 bolts is really good against the Ragavan DRC starts. Jeez, come on now. Going to 5. All right, keep. This one, I'll actually put 2 lands on the bottom. Had to mull to 5 just to then put 2 lands on the bottom. Good stuff. Blood Crypt, DRC. Okay. We didn't get Thoughtseized right away. The Dream is still alive to Veil of Summer the shit out of them. Wow, Teamer Battle Rage. Respect it. The Ancient Scrolls. Old technology. Okay. They saw that Fable off Mishra's Bauble. I would love to get a Veil of Summer fueled blowout here. Move my way to closer to land number 3. Get a card out of their hand. Thought seizing me. I'll let them surveil first so they don't know. Bang. It's action time. Get the Stomping Ground. Give them that summertime sadness. Oh no. Are they about to reveal that they're 4-color Shadow? Oh my god, they are! I'm getting flusterstormed. Wow, 4-color Shadow. Kudos to you. This is sick. Wow, what a beating. All right, I hope they watch this and realize how hard they just got me. I mean, they know, but I was talking shit. Fable into the graveyard. 4-color Shadow. Fearless. Speaking of Fearless, put your stupid jerk in the graveyard. Remember when you saw my hand? That wasn't in it. Mishra's Bauble. All right, I gotta hope they run out of gas. At least a little bit here. They looked at their own top card, which must mean they have a way to manipulate it. Fetch land confirmed. They know I have Spell Pierce. And I don't have a land that makes white and blue. Or, yeah, I do. It's, no, there's not a Rockwind Triumph, is there? No, I'm thinking of the Rockwind Triumph I saw in my opponent's battlefield last game. Yeah, I just have to draw a card. I can't actually make a fetch that casts both my spells. Someday. Alright, now I just need to hit land. That's the game I'm trying to play. They're hitting lands. And now that they're a blue deck too, it's just not even fair. Hello? I'm prepared to be stubborn denial straight to hell, but gotta do what I can do here. I think I want the Sacred Foundry, because that's the one that leaves up Spell Pierce if this works. Wow, we're in there. I was not expecting that. Okay, cool. We're playing the game. I've got a plan. Fetching in the end step. Hope they're just thinning here. Playing their lands tapped. Starting to pump the brakes on Shadow a little bit. Land number 5, never really where Shadow wants to be. I will Spell Pierce Alorian revealed here, and then untap and slam Archon, if they do have a 5-drop. Okay, getting the Xander's Lounge rounds out all my everything that I need. Did they get me with an end step spell? Unholy Heat would have resolved anyway. Like, that doesn't matter. Okay, they are cracking a fetch in the end step. Oh, I'm excited. What is this? Kolaghan's Command, 2 to any target and make me discard. I suppose I have to discard Spell Pierce here. And then do they bolt to finish off the Ren? Alright, deck, fetch land off the top. Fetch land. Oh, I'll take that. Second best card. Is the last card in their hand Stubborn Denial? It is not. Okay, I'm ready to go next turn now. Lightning Bolt, alright. Fetch land. Okay, I am going to loot Leyline Binding and Creativity. Green, red. Okay, this will be a fetch land eventually. I've played around Stubborn Denial completely on purpose. Okay, I'm once again presenting a thing, and it cannot be Thoughtseized away. It can be Surgical out of here for good. Soul Guide Lantern, that missed its chance to be relevant last turn. Yeah, they're just going to draw a card here. They took the Wooded Foothills out of my graveyard, and I am just going to fetch in the end step, make a dwarf, because I can do that again on my main phase. Ren, pick up Wooded Foothills, attack for 1, and then make 2 Archons. At least that's the plan. 2 cards in their hand. If it's 2 removal spells, that works. If it's 1 counter spell, I'm still ahead and can Creativity again next turn. If it's nothing, they're dead. If it's Veil of Summer, they can survive my triggers. All right. Got me on that one. All right, yeah, I'll just present that again next turn. Summer Denial. They are at 6, facing down 4 damage also. 5 damage if I minus Ren. A lot of action here. Like if they draw a discard or counter, they're in trouble to my board. If they draw removal, they're in trouble to Creativity. Or creature, they're in trouble to Creativity. Underworld Breach, oh no, this could do all of it. Am I just dead to bolts here? They need a red source to kill me with Bolt. Dragon's Rage Channeler, okay. This can shred a bunch of cards from their deck. Wow, that was a good draw. And I'm glad they didn't have one other red, or else I was just literally dead. 2 DRCs. Okay, so they can play Mishra's Bauble, mill 2 cards, or they don't. Oh yeah, there is a Mishra's Bauble in there. Yeah, they can play Mishra's Bauble, mill 2 cards. They're gonna Thoughtseize me here. This was a really good series of events for them. Yeah, they can Thoughtseize me down to 4, take my Creativity, and then draw as many cards as they want with Baubles. Refill their hand. Sick. So messed up. Turns out Yawgmoth's Will. Pretty good. They did not mill with their Surveil triggers, though. They kept the card. So they're not going to go too deep on these Baubles. I mean, they can go 1 more, and then they get to draw 2 cards, including the one that they just kept and enjoyed. And now they don't have Delirium. Or they will again at the end of turn because they'll have Bauble and Breach there. All right, they do still have Delirium. But they're trying to trick me into thinking they don't. Okay. Ren can go to the face. Put them to 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Lightning Bolt is a card they could have kept on top. There is no sequence of stuff here that does what I want. I'm going to deal 1 to my opponent's face. And if I play the Scalding Tarn, they'll have perfect information about my hand, but I think they have that anyway, or at least they know enough. Yeah, I'm going to pass. Dead to Bolt. Yeah, they are doing their thing here. DRC has to attack now, but if they have a Lightning Bolt, that doesn't matter. Mishra's Bauble. Milling Drown in the Lock. And Death Shadow. Okay, they put me to 2. Can't stop it. And they have the Bolt. All right, yeah, very cool. They hid their entire 3rd color for 2 games and then blew me out on Spell Pierce off of a blue source that we hadn't seen in the entire match. And then I don't know if they ripped that Underworld Breach or if they were saving up for the perfect time to shoot it, but boy, was that the perfect card. On to the next round. GG's opponent.
The Command Tower software by Eminence Gaming is perfect for hosting TCG events. It features easy-to-create event registration for 1v1 and 4-player Swiss structured tournaments. Event management has never been so simple, and it's web-based, so there's no download required. Get access for just $5 at eminence.event/subscribe.
On the play for round number 4, I'm going to keep this hand. It only has 2 lands, but it does a lot with those 2 lands. Pass the turn. If I need to Spell Pierce, I can do that. Oh, Inkmoth Nexus. The Ozolith. This card is really hard to beat, but also, I am just going to Spell Pierce it. This card is really annoying. It turns this Lightning Bolt in my hand into garbage, and I don't think that Hardened Scales is a deck that's going to spend a whole lot of effort on other non-creature things. Like, I want to be able to bolt their creatures and that to be an effective way to deal with them. Kind of planning on reprieving this turn. If they play something that dies to Bolt, I'll just kill it. Welding Jar. Okay. I'm not going to reprieve that or Bolt. Oh, the other Ozolith. If one or more +1 counters we put on an artifact or creature you control, put them any +1 for +1 counter. It's okay, yeah, whatever. I'm not going to counter that. I'm going to fetch Jetmir's Garden tapped in the end step, and then I'll have Xander's Lounge and all 5 land types. If I draw an untapped land or the option for an untapped land, I might go with that instead of Xander's Lounge. Oof. All right. Well, Fable's really good for next turn. And between Reprieve and Binding, I have a pretty good setup to not just eat shit here. Urza's Saga. Important to note that Leyline Binding does not beat Inkmoth Nexus. This creature resolves. I can bolt that one. Arcbound Ravager. I think I want to reprieve this right now while they're not threatening lethal. Archon, not what I wanted. I'd love a land. Yeah, there we go. We did it. I'm going to fetch for a Dwarven Mine, and I'm just going to jam Creativity. I don't think they can stop it, and it'll make their board empty. Boom. Just bigger thing than you. Get rid of it. Nothing to modular onto right now. Can't regenerate from that. I have a 6/6 between you and my life total. Okay. I know they're holding Ravager, and they have this Ozolith in play. So Ravager would show up with 2/2, and then sack Welding Jar would make it 4/4. Fire up Nexus. They could put 6 poison on me or force a trade with Archon. They have to do something to either pressure my life total, or they either force a block or trick me into blocking here, or else they're just in trouble. Oh, they can't play Ravager and activate Inkmoth unless they also play a land. Then they'll only have 1 card left in their hand. Okay, they tap the Inkmoth. Oh dear. Agatha's Soul Cauldron. You may spend mana as though or mana of any color to activate abilities of creatures you control. Creatures you control with +1 counters on them have all activated abilities of all creatures exiled with the Soul Cauldron. Tap, exile a creature. Exile target card from a graveyard. Whenever a creature card is activated this way, put a +1 counter on target creature you control. Okay. I don't know if that goes infinite somehow, or if that's just like has a bunch of +1/+1 words on it that this deck enjoys. I think I'm just going to attack with my Archon of Cruelty. They discard a Walking Ballista. Their hand is Arcbound Ravager. What does that mean to me? If I play Wrenn and 6, I can plus putting access to... Yeah, I can fetch for Sacred Foundry, which gives me access to... I guess they could have exiled that in response, but I guess it doesn't do what they want. Okay, so I have Bolt, Spell Pierce, and Leyline Binding here. I hope between the 3 of those I can figure out how to not die. I'm going to fetch in response. I don't expect them to get Pithing Needle, but I do want to have all my shields up just in case. I'm at 21 life before that fetch. I think that's pretty safe. They're going to poison me out if they win life total. I don't think matters. Okay, abilities they can grant to their creatures include the Walking Ballista Ping. That's a pretty cool ability to give to your creatures. Zabaz Flying, or destroy target artifact you control. I don't think that matters. And I don't have any creatures in the graveyard. I don't know. It's on them to figure it out. I have 2 removal spells and a soft counter. And my hands are in the air. You're dead on board. Tutored up a fresh Zabaz. Okay. I think I bolt... Oh, Hangerback Walker. What does this do? Makes a lot of artifacts. Makes a lot of blockers. If I bolt Zabaz... Yeah, they can't play... Yeah, I'm gonna Lightning Bolt Zabaz here. If they Welding Jar it, then I can Leyline Bind it also. Our last card in hand is Arcbound Ravager. Okay, Welding Jar. Go ahead, regenerate that. Then I'm also gonna bind it. What I just can't really have here is them making a million 1/1s to block. Okay, they have a 2/2 Hangerback Walker. They can give it the abilities of Walking Ballista. Okay, they gave it the abilities of Zabaz. It can fly or destroy target artifact, and it's a 4/4, but they don't have red to destroy itself. If I attack, they block, or yeah, they sack first, and they have 4 blockers. Okay, that works. That does buy you a bunch of time. Does that change anything? They're almost just dead. All right, I'm gonna leave Wrenn unactivated here. Oh, they can use any color. Okay, they didn't actually have to do this. Yeah, now they're actually losing an extra thing they didn't need to. Because it was gonna die and then you'd have the tokens in time for blocks anyway. But okay. Yeah, I forgot the any color stipulation there. Opponent's at 5. Do I die to Arcbound Ravager this turn? I think Ren killing one of these Thopters is worth doing. And then I can play Fable, leaving up Bolt and Pierce. I hope that's enough. I don't actually know. Like their hand is empty now. I have no idea what the ceiling on Agatha's Soul Cauldron is. I could just be dead here somehow. I don't know. Hardened Scales is not it, though. Like, they can exile the creature, but it's either... Is it 3 or is it 4? No, they add 1, right? Yeah, okay. These are all templated as 1 or more. So they can make a 4/4 here with the abilities of Walking Ballista. That's not enough to stabilize. The abilities of Arcbound Ravager don't matter. And I can just bolt this creature as soon as I target it with Soul Cauldron. I am excited to see cards from 2 of the most recent sets affecting a modern deck in this way. Just meaningful, cost-appropriate game pieces for a hyper-powered deck in a hyper-power format. Love it when they come through standard. Honest to goodness. No Modern Horizons business here. I could have pierced the Hardened Scales because the game is over this turn anyway. I don't think it matters, though. And it's probably right to just pierce it. They've already seen a spell pierce. I'm not hiding any information. I just can't imagine it mattering. Okay. Exile target from a graveyard. When a creature card is exiled this way. Okay, so that's a separate triggered ability that is a condition of this activated ability. Though I suppose bolting it now is all the same. Okay, you just don't have any creatures to do this with. Cool. Alrighty. Still can't bring in the artifacts. Karn's actually a complete dealer in this matchup, even if he doesn't tutor for anything. Reprieve's a little slow, especially on the draw, but I don't know that Teferi solves any of those problems. Guess going off at instant speed and bouncing a creature that got out of burn range are both worth exploring. I guess is what I'm doing. And if they have something like Torpor Orb to shut down my Archons, Teferi deals with that. Another 1-lander with 2 Wrenn and 6, 2 Leyline Binding. Tough beats. I'm going to mulligan it. There's 25 lands in this deck, so 24. I have a 53 card deck. 24 times 2 is 48. Slightly below. I have to win 1 of 2 slightly weighted coin flips for this hand to be good. I'm just going to mulligan it. Triple Spell Pierce Lightning Bolt. I don't think this is the game either. Mulligan. Oh, come on, 0. Straight to 4. Okay, keep. Put back 1 of the Karns, the basic Mountain, and probably the other Karn. Just Fable's cheaper, even though Karn's way better. This is going to be tough. Welding Jar right away. Hardened Scales. Oh, interesting. Okay. I'm going to play Scalding Tarn because I can fetch Jetmir's Lounge, then play Jetmir's Garden, and then play Xander's Lounge next turn for 1. Shadow Spear go. Okay. They're saving up for some big show later. All right. I mean, I have curved up into Fable. I have Leyline Binding available. And they're just passing. Okay. They must have some stupid sideboard card in their hand, like Orvar or something. Just trying to imagine why they would keep this hand. And let's just go fair beats underneath it. How about that? Vendelhaven, they found their land. If that's what the hand was missing, we might see some fireworks here. If they're relying on some dumb sideboard card, I might just wait. Hangerback Walker. Okay. Arrives as a 2/2. Can't currently delete itself. I'm going to loot away this Archon, even though I do think that casting it might be part of my game plan this game. I'm just going to bind right now before combat. Get rid of this thing. Clear the way for attacks. Then I get another one. I'm going to leave my treasure in play. What do I want here? I already have everything. What do I want a second source of? Probably white. It's either white or blue. There's a lot more white cards in this deck than blue ones. And I'm going to get Sacred Foundry. And Refablify. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 mana next turn, approaching casting Archon range. Hoping it doesn't come to that, and then they just die. But I am running low on gas here. The Mull to 4 really coming in clutch. So if you didn't look at my hand size right now, if you just were like, it's turn 4 and this is what my board looks like, you would not necessarily suspect I'm Mull to 4. Ozolith, that's not a creature. And their next creature is just the dumbest size imaginable. I am going to discard, I think, both of these cards. A Lightning Bolt just doesn't work against an enormous creature hiding under Welding Jar. I'm going to send them both, look for some action. Okay. I guess we're about to learn if they left Orvar in, or if that was what they kept their hand on. I could also just wait and not do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can shove Archon here if Orvar is what they're doing. Yeah, I'm just not going to play into that. They kept a hand that basically hasn't done anything, even though I've barely interacted with them. And if that is what they're showing me, they kept this hand for a reason. I'm going to believe them. Ballista for 1, which is actually Ballista for a lot. 3. Okay. It can only kill one of these creatures, but it is going straight for the reflection. Good call. I am going to fetch the buddy in the end step. Keep this pressure going. Reprieve. Interesting. Attack with my creatures. Make some more treasures. They kept their Ballista around. They can activate Ozolith, put a +1 counter on it. I have enough creatures that I can beat an Orvar. I'm just going to go for it here. And I guess I won't have the Reprieve. So I draw a card before Orvar comes in. Oh, wow. I don't know why they kept this hand, if this is a concession spot, but cool. Opponent just didn't really do anything and died. I mulled to 4 and cast 1 Leyline Binding and then put some 2/2s into play, and they were unable to beat that. We'll never know what happened here. On to the final round. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop, and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. On the draw in the final round, Positive Record Lock, playing for the bread and butter 4/1. I do like my cheap interaction. I don't like this Archon, and Karn is mid. I will keep the hand, though. Opponent's on 6. What do you got? And I hope Lightning Bolt's good against it. Okay, looks like a Hammer Gamer over there. Mishra's Bauble. Plains Memnite Go. Through another Spell Pierce. There will be spots where Spell Pierce is bonkers and spots where it's terrible. If they go for like Sigarda's Aid here, I'm in business. Stoneforge, I just have to bolt it, I guess, and hope Spell Pierce holds up for next turn. And being attacked for 1. Not going to block. Stoneforge Mystic it is. Okay. Gonna have to Lightning Bolt this thing. Holding on to this Mishra's Bauble is interesting. Nettle Cyst is the selection. That's actually really good for me because that's a thing that gets Spell Pierced. Another Bolt. Cool. Okay. I have Bolt and Spell Pierce or just Reprieve available, all of which are pretty good. Ornithopter, don't care. Leaving the Bauble in play, the Nettle Cyst kind of explains that. Cranial Plating, yikes. Spell Pierce that. Another reason leaving Bauble in play made sense. And I can fetch Jetmir's Garden or leave lands in my deck to try to draw them. I think I want access to the garden here. Pain-free. Hit my land drop anyway. Magic's easy. This Karn seems pretty good against my opponent's deck. Still not using the Bauble, even though they missed a land drop with a 3 in their hand. A lot of discipline here. Okay, it's finally time. Targeting themselves. Another Memnite. Not going to reprieve that. Memnite's getting in. Okay, I can bolt a Memnite in the end step. I'm not excited about it. I'll do it anyway. I have more mana worth of stuff that I want to do than I have mana. Okay, Karn is active here. So is Reprieve plus Spell Pierce, while my opponent's not really doing anything. But what am I worried about their deck doing if I have a Karn in play? I can't imagine. I'm going to get a Mountain and a Dwarven Mine. And they're going to wish I had creativity. I think I just plus Karn, so I don't want it to die. And then I can grab Engineered Explosive next turn and wipe out their whole business. They can fire up Ink Moth, poke Karn for 1, They found land number 3. I will trade off this dwarf so fast for this Memnite. I think that's fine. I have no creativity in sight, and just reducing their permanence to 0, kind of what I'm in business for. There's the Nettle. There's a creativity. I could just wish for something and then creativity it. That's probably better than using engineered explosives right now. Or I could get the 1 ring pump in. Bounty of Riches. Yeah, I just don't believe that this deck will beat an Archon from this position, even though I could Wrath their board. Yeah, I'm just going to get Tormod Script and then creativity it. Splat. Ornithopter's dead. Your hand's down to 1 card. Nettlecyst is a 1/1. I have a 6/6 between my Life Total and Inkmoth Nexus. And I drew a land that casts Spell Pierce. I'm going to shock that in. They've seen Bolt and Spell Pierce, so they should read one of those 2 things on the Steam vents. Cool. Yep, just dead. Looks like some kind of Blitz Affinity, probably Hammer adjacent, but Cranial Plating and Nettlecyst. I don't know if Hammer has become grindier since the last time I was playing a lot of Modern. Reprieve seems mid. The Spell Pierce actually seems really solid here, given the number of non-creature equipments that they showed me. Okay, let's do it. It's nice to queue into 2 artifact decks in the back half of this league with our Karn the Great Creator build of creativity. Okay, this does have a pretty straight shot to plan A, but not a lot of interaction. I am going to keep it. Renin 6- has some text in this matchup on turn 2, and then just goldfishing the turn 4 creativity I'm pretty cool with. I am honestly surprised to see a Blood Crypt in this deck. It just hasn't come up in any game so far. Not that it like shouldn't be in the deck or anything, just weird. Ornithopter Go, I'm pretty cool with. Slow start, no Sigarda's Aid, no problem. Urza's Saga. Do they have the Stoneforge, and do they get Kaldra? Kaldra would put kind of the boots on me here. I hope they just get a Nettlecyst and settle in for a grind. Colossus Hammer, uh-oh. They're ready to pounce. Gonna get the Garden. Now I kind of hope I draw Leyline Binding. Oh, Reprieve. Interesting. That does not stop me from dying to Hammer if they go Sigarda's Aid, Hammer, and have a land around. I think I just play the Arid Mesa and pass and hope that this buys me the time I need. Okay, Reprieve sucks now. Oh, a 2-mana spell is great news for me. Like literally any one at all. Just cast something that costs 2. Stoneforge Mystic, okay. I'm going to fetch the basic mountain and reprieve this. That card living up to its name, just give me a small reprieve to get anything going here. If they tricked me and now they play Sigarda's Aid, that's rough. Oh, Hammer just didn't play. So they have a You're Still Paladin or some other instant speed equip spell. Oof, that is not the Lightning Bolt. Okay. Might just die here, but I'm going to put Fable into play and hope that we get another turn. They can tutor another Hammer. If they're holding Pure Steel Paladin, we just take 20 in the air, and I've done nothing for the entire match. Just put 3 lands into play and died. Shadow Spear. Okay, that's not a Hammer. Pure Steel Paladin. And there's the other Hammer. Okay, you did it. That was embarrassing. Maybe a bad keep, maybe ran bad. I don't know. Submit my deck. Same cards. Let's do it. Now I'm on the play. Where if we play that exact same game, I think I win instead of lose. Okay, here we go. A mildly interactive perfect curve into a turn 4 creativity. Done deal. That's all I want. Scalding Tarn, go. Steel Shaper's Gift. Take a little look-see in the deck. Found a Hammer. I'm going to fetch for the Garden. Reprieve, that's cool. I will shock in this land and play Renin 6. I think I have a turn to breathe here, and then next turn I can hold a Bolt plus Reprieve into the creativity. They would need a haste creature, an equip mechanism, and something else. I don't think that can be done on 2 mana. Yeah, Stoneforge Mystic, don't care, that gets bolted. Sword of Fire and Ice, okay. They're pivoting into the mid-range. Karn's here now. Basic Mountain's fine for what I need to be doing here, and that's just bolting their thing. Okay, Reprieve, whatever they do here, and then untap and make an Archon. Or just let that resolve because I don't care about it. That's really weird. We're still Paladin next turn? Alright, yeah, I will actually reprieve this. I have the mana up. If I can deny them anything, I'm going to do it. I could also just make a dwarf and play Karn this turn. Oh, if I was going to do that, I should not have countered that spell. A Dwarven Mine. That's a blocker. Karn is a unit that shuts down half their deck. And a plus on nothing. Yeah, I don't want to lose to like Orvar or have them just discard one card, lose some life, and then path to exile my creature. I would like to get... Maybe I'm getting greedy here, but I would like to really shut them down. Okay, 4 planes in play and passing the turn. Another Steel Shaper gift. Okay, they could just put Nettle Cyst into play as a 1/1 if they like. Or they could pass the turn. That's fine too. Reprieve. I quite like that card. What can Karn do here? And grab the One Ring, start digging. I think I start by attacking. Because if I have the One Ring, I don't care. I mean, maybe 2 Archons just kills them here, but I can do all sorts of cool things that play around dedicated sideboard cards. Get another Mine. Wrenn and 6 goes ultimate next turn with Lightning Bolt in my graveyard and Reprieve. Karn's going to make a Wish. Proteus Staff is 6 mana to make happen, so I'm just going to grab a Ring. And I'll make them think about Spell Pierce by tapping the Jetmir's Garden instead of the Steam Vents. And I think I just pass here. Can't die this turn. Stoneforge Mystic is in, tutoring up yet another equipment from their deck. This is the 4th tutored equipment this game. This time it's Shadow Spear. There's also a Sword of Fire and Ice among these cards that are revealed. End step, I'm going to bolt the Stoneforge. I'm just kind of testing them for interaction here. Like if they have Steel Shaper's Gift, or not that. What's that card called? Armor or something. The 1 white, give a creature, or give a permanent hexproof. Surge of Salvation. Okay. That certainly qualifies as something I want to interact with. That would have blown out my creativity. Okay, Lightning Bolt this Stoneforge Mystic again. I am just going to Emblem Wrenn. They have to beat Lightning Bolt and Reprieve for the rest of time. Dwarven Mine, trigger. And I can just get rowdy with the Ring. I just attack you for 6. Drawing 2 cards is probably better than that. What's in my sideboard? I've got a Liquid Metal Coating over there. Grab Coating. Play Coating. Slowly squeezing their options out. Floating a white. Yeah, you don't have to do that until I activate Coating. March of Otherworldly Light on a single token. Sure. And I'm going to run Fable out there. I know it taps me out, but they have to get a lethal haste creature through Karn. Oh, I was supposed to Liquid Metal Coating one of their things before their main phase. Yeah, if I blow it here, it's my fault. Okay, end step. Draw 2 cards with the Ring. Then we go to my turn. I lose 2. Draw. Handful of gas. I would like to use this ability because I can cast spells from my graveyard. So putting spells in the graveyard is like having them in my hand. I am going to hide the creativity though. I'm going to coat a plains and then plus Karn on it. Plus Karn on that. Move into combat. Attack with all my creatures. Reprieve does not actually beat Surge of Salvation here. I know all but 1 card in their hand. I could activate Ring. If I find a Spell Pierce, I'm golden. I could also just 1, 2, 3. I could play Wrenn, start rebuying lands. Yeah, they're very close to just dying to being bolted out. I don't even need a combo here. Plus Wrenn on the land I discarded. Not even going to play a land this turn. I'm just going to bolt them, discarding the land I just picked up. And I will pass the turn. I do take 2 from my Ring, in case that matters, if they put 9 damage on me. But how are they going to do that through a wall of Reprieves and Bolts? Still 1 unknown card in their hand. They can play Nettle Cyst as an instant. Just going to bolt them a bunch of times right now. Bolt you, bolt you. Nettle Cyst as an instant, sure. They can flash Colossus Hammer and Shadow Spear onto this thing. Does that even matter? Don't know. Not unless they can fling it somehow. And they're at 2. I'm not going to draw cards with the Ring. Or I'm not going to ramp that up. I don't think I need to. Maybe it's just like totally free and I shouldn't care, but this is what I've done. Return a land. And yeah, they're good. All right. Never needed a creativity. Played around sideboard cards the whole time. 4-1 victory, losing only to 4-color Shadow with their surprise technology of a 4th color and Underworld Breach in game 3. Good stuff. Yeah, I don't know if Karn was actually good here or if creativity is so good that we won in spite of having Karn instead of normal stuff like Teferi. But definitely playing against 2 artifact decks in the league didn't hurt. If Hammer and Hardened Scales are a big part of your metagame, the Karn package is pretty cool. Karn wishing for Zurin Orb did actually win us a race in 1 round. Karn wishing for creativity targets. Like if you don't have a creature in play, just grab Tormod's Crypt, send that away. That's a cool ability. The One Ring let us grind through a game where we were suspicious of sideboard technology, and it worked out great. I think it might be reasonable to split the Karns, like have 2 Teferi, 2 Karn, and then open up 2 real sideboard slots. Maybe dedicating 8 cards to a Karn board that only has 2 Karns might throw off the balance. Maybe that's not worth doing. Also, definitely don't board in any of your artifacts. That's a thing we learned. In the deck rips, Indomitable Creativity, obviously extremely powerful in Modern, with some room to play with the shell. I've played multiple different shells of creativity on the channel, and they were all pretty good. Turns out you could kind of do whatever you want with this. I'm going to leave that here, though. TJD, thank you for sharing this with us. The Creator Creativity. Love a fun deck name. That'll be good in the title and the thumbnail. Appreciate that when the jokes write themselves. Everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon, and I will see you next time.